I was recently in Tucson, Arizona, and a friend introduced me to a man named Greg Silverman. And within moments of starting the interview, I was really glad that he had introduced me to Greg. Greg had a lot of really good things to share. And Greg is a worship leader. He works primarily with Messianic Jews, and he has this broad background where he's been in lots and lots of different settings. And so as I talked to him, some of the things that he shared, the very first one off the bat, I asked him, what is something that you'd like to share with worship leaders that you think probably most of them don't know? And he had a great answer. So take a look.
When I first started with Messianic worship, this was around 2001, 2002, I had this special opportunity early on to be one of the piano players for like the Messianic National Conference. And so I was playing keys. It was my first time doing this. And one of the main Messianic rabbis was worship leading. And so it was supposed to be a super positive experience for me. I figured I would have loved it. And so I felt depressed or down afterwards. Not all out depression, but just after I was done, I walked off the platform. Everybody else was having a good time in the main auditorium room. I went outside and just sat. And I spoke to one of the other seasoned worship leaders following day, and she told me something that I was glad that she said early on, because you're asking what I wished somebody would have told me. I was glad she did when she did. That being a worship leader is like being at the tip of an arrowhead in terms of spiritual warfare, that the worshipers go out first. And as they lead worship, they're in a sense kind of breaking through the darkness so that all the other people can worship freely in behind. And so she was helping me consider that perhaps the reason I felt so yucky when I was planning on feeling so great after playing for the first time in the big conference was because of a spiritual warfare sort of thing, because I was beginning to serve up at the tip of the arrow. But if I hung in there, that God could use that to help usher other people to praise and worship the Lord.
I'm guessing that there's more than one person who is watching this video who has struggled with that very thing. You have finished leading worship, and it felt like kind of a downer, if you will, at the end. It just wasn't quite what you had envisioned. And I think what Greg is saying here is really important for us to understand, that we're at the tip of that arrow, as he says. And so there's going to be some struggle for us that perhaps the others don't have. But because we've gone through that struggle, we're able to bring those other people along with us. And I just want to leave you with that today, to ponder that and consider what that means for you. Maybe at the end of your worship set in your service, you're not all excited and happy, but maybe you have helped others to come along into that experience in a way that they wouldn't have if you weren't there doing what you're doing in leading the way as the tip of that arrow.
Brought to you by myworshipleadingcoach.com.
Helping you to be more fully equipped as a worship leader.